Welcome to the International Christian Film and Music Festival. This is day one of the festival, and it's so good to be back in person live. And look who I ran into. This is Mr. Bob Saenz himself, the screenwriter and actor. What a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here. It was tough to do this last year as a virtual event, and it's so much better to be here with everybody and feel the great vibe and the closeness of all the believers.
There's nothing like coming back together again. So we're going to have a party at the 2021 festival for sure. I heard that you hadn't pursued acting until you were in your 40s. Is that right?
I was a stage actor as a kid. From the time I was 16 to the time I was about 22, I was a professional stage actor. And I met my wife and looked at her and said, acting family, and yeah, you don't let somebody like my wife get away. So we've been married 47 years, and when I turned 40, I said to her, I think I want to try acting again. And when I picked her up off the floor, she said, we've done real well, and she had a great job, and thank you, Lord. And I stepped out in faith and got a one-line role in a movie called Angels in the Outfield, and got my SAG card. And lots of doors opened, got opened some amazing doors, and I ended up with a very small, teeny, recurring part on a TV show called Nash Bridges with Don Johnson and Cheech Marin as the precinct sergeant on their barge. And I did that for 6 seasons, and it was a stepping stone to my writing, because I looked at those scripts and said, gee, I could do this. And I started writing and found out that God said, you're not that good an actor, but you could write. So I've turned it into a writing career. I've 16 produced movies, and I'm working on number 17 right now.
Oh, that's incredible. I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute.
Oh, I love it.
Rewind back to those days on Nash Bridges. Some of your favorite memories on set.
Oh, there's all of it. It was like when a TV show works, when it actually gels and works, and it's like a machine. You're like a family, and those people have remained friends since it went off the air 20 years ago. In fact, they've rebooted it, and they're filming a new version of Nash Bridges right now with Don and Cheech and Jeff Perry. And I talked to Jeff Perry a week ago about it, and I've talked to a lot of the crew guys that are going back, and I wish them all the best. I think it's going to be fantastic. If it goes to series, I expect to be back for at least one episode. Mm-hmm. But the whole experience helped mold my screenwriting career. It was just, there's lots of things, but it was the family atmosphere that was there on set and there as we all did stuff together off set.
Well, here we are 20 years later, hindsight 2020, right? What are some of the mistakes that you journeyed through that you wish that you could tell someone like yourself today to beware of?
You got about 2.5 hours. Everybody makes the same mistakes. Everybody makes the same blunders when you're trying to do something like this. It's the book I have out now is called "That's Not the Way It Works," and the reason is because I have talked to people enough to have them tell me what they think is how it works, and I'm always saying, yeah, that's not the way it works. You don't just write something and it doesn't just get produced. It takes thousands of hours and hundreds of people to produce a movie, and it's a cooperative thing that may start with the script, but the script has to be developed through the lenses of a director and producers and actors and budget and all the other things that come into play when you're writing a movie. And you have to subjugate your ego and treat it like the business it is, in order for you to be able to look at what you've written and see what changes have to be made to it in order for it to actually be something that is real, that appears on screen for people to watch.
I love
And what you write for that first script, or that script, whatever script is you sell, is never what you're going to see on screen. And that's a big lesson. That's a big lesson.
I love that you touched on humility. Can you talk about some of those, how critical a mindset is, the right mindset is in this industry?
I optioned, didn't sell, but I optioned the first script I ever wrote to a studio, and I let my ego get out of control. I thought, oh, I'm fantastic and I'm wonderful and all. And the studio got sold, and they canceled all whatever they bought, and it was gone. And I went, wow. And it was a great lesson to me that it's not about you.
Earlier, we were speaking a little bit about the distribution issue today, and everything just seems up in the air. We've got virtual platforms. Feels like all of these filmmakers here that I have heard from this morning, they're asking, I'm not sure what I'm doing with my distribution. This is a big challenge for me. What could you speak to on that?
Used to be there were very few channels of distribution. Now there's a million channels. And there's cable channels, and there's streaming platforms, and there's not so much theaters anymore, but there's all these different ways you can get things, and all these different distributors. And all you can do as a producer is buckle down and do your homework about who you would like to work with, but not only that, who is a good fit for what you do. You don't, it's like selling a script. You don't go to a guy who produces horror movies and say, here's my faith-based film, okay? But a lot of people do shotgun approaches like that, and what you need to do is channel your approaches to specific people that fit specifically what you're trying to do, and then expand from there, rather than throw it at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah, we're hearing that there are some other entertainment, media, and film hubs starting to pop up because of the lockdown. Florida's another one.
I think Nashville is going to be one too. I do, just because of all the entertainment that's there and everything that's going on there. That the music industry's already built this infrastructure of arts that I think that there will be more in Nashville as it comes on. I've been talking to a lot of people there already.
I love that town. I've got family there. The people are so sweet. They're as sweet as sweet tea, are they not?
We are loving it in Tennessee.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. What messages are you finding yourself gravitating more towards as a screenwriter in these days?
Oh, I write across the board. I write secular films. I write what I call faith-adjacent films. Okay, would you like the difference between faith-based and faith-adjacent?
Absolutely.
Faith-based films are films that preach to the flock. They're films that preach to Christians and say, here's a Christian movie about Christians, and we can all watch it as Christians. Faith-adjacent films, to me, and the kind of films that I would like to make, is I have two of them out now. One is The Farmer and the Belle, which is out on Amazon Prime, and one is called Church People that came out in March in the theaters across the country, and it'll be on VOD soon. Thank you. Both of those films that I wrote are what I call faith-adjacent films, which means that non-believers can go and enjoy them, but you still get a faith message. And that's the difference, that the storylines and the humor and the things in them will attract people who are not Christians to a movie that subtly gives them a Christian message.
So tell me a little bit more about the projects that bring you here to the 21 Festival.
I really don't have a project here. I have a book that's out called That's Not the Way It Works. It's about the craft and the business of screenwriting. Written in my voice. It's kind of conversational and funny, and I have Farmer and the Belle. Well, one of the reasons is Farmer and the Belle was showed last year, and because we couldn't be here, it won Best Screenplay, and so I won Best Screenplay, and so they asked me to come back and teach a class or two this year, and to talk based on that and based on the fact that I did an online class for them last year. So that's why I'm here. I don't have a film in competition.
Well, we're so grateful for your open hand because so many of us young filmmakers are looking for that advice and trying to navigate through these uncertain times.
When I first started, I got help from some very, very seasoned professionals, very people that didn't have to help me but did. And God has always said to me, give it back, give it back, give it back. And it's part of the reason I do what I do and come here and make myself open to talking to new screenwriters and new filmmakers to give them what I've learned, in a lot of cases what I learned the hard way.
What do you want Bob Saenz to be known for?
Taking care of my family, being somebody that's not just a screenwriter and not just an actor, having people know me for who I am as a person rather than what I've done.
Bob, thank you so much. What an honor.
Oh, stop it.
Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love doing stuff like this. I love getting to meet new people and talking about what I do and talking about how the Lord has affected it, because He has.
For 24 Flix, I'm Kat Vasquez for the International Christian Film and Music Festival.